See, I be higher than most. Top of the doubler, keep your eye on the coast. I see you wave a mile away and don't alert, I just post. Running out of evil, so the work getting slow. And they be tripping on the render, but be loving the post. Focus where you headed, how you cope on the road. I wanna fly out the city, wanna take you somewhere clean. Know you're moving on to big and better things.
Welcome to the MIdcoast podcast. New shows every Tuesday with your hosts, Chris, Matt, James, and Shannon.
Well, welcome to MIdcoast podcast, episode 5. You got Chris here, leading the way.
Shannon, MIdcoast.
James, MIdcoast.
Matthew, East Coast.
So we just got back from the weekend, guys. So any big things that happened? Did you do anything? I know Corona's closed a lot of stuff on the West and the Mid-Coast. Matt, everything's open for you still. But, you guys do anything this weekend exciting? Smoke some more meat, James?
Of course, I love the meats and planning on challenging Arby's pretty soon on who has more. I actually did my first brisket, you guys, this weekend, and it turned out really nice. I was pleasantly surprised. I hear you're supposed to ruin those, but I'm just going to say that I did that on a pellet smoker. I've definitely ruined a brisket before the other way, like by manually smoking. So I'll just throw that out there.
That brisket was good enough to invite me over for the next one. That's what I heard.
Ooh, keen ear, sharp ears there. Yes, Shannon, I would stand by it. I think I'm confident enough to be at the point where it would just be tweaking some stuff, versus ruining it and then being like, y'all want some McDonald's?
We're like, no, James, I'm leaving.
This is terrible.
I don't really remember what I did this weekend. I know I didn't drink. That's for sure. I guess I had a boring ass weekend. I think I took my dog to the dog park for a few too many hours. It was hot out. But yeah, I didn't really do much.
Yeah, same. I didn't do much either. Just did a little bit of walking. Yeah, nothing fun really. What about you, Chris?
I did some vintage video gaming. My buddy's has an old Super Nintendo and an N64. And he has that N64 like game cartridge that has like 360 games on it. So we spent the day, I think it was Saturday, and we played GoldenEye, Star Fox, Mario Kart, the original Donkey Kong. So we went through and played some video games for about like 5-6 hours, some vintage video games. So that was kind of fun, had some beers. That was kind of my weekend. Did some stuff around the house, unfortunately.
That sounds fun. That sounds so much fun, Chris.
So since I've been working on stuff around my house, I've been buying stuff on Amazon, and I've kind of going through my Amazon buy list and seeing what I bought, and I've returned some stuff that I bought because I was working on my garage and adding more lighting. So I came up with the topic of what is the last thing you guys bought on Amazon, and what is most unique or weird or funny thing you've bought on Amazon. Let's start with you, James.
All right, the last thing that I bought on Amazon, and this was today, was 200 parchment paper baking sheets.
He making a hell of meat. That's what that's about.
Industrial size.
Have you heard of Meatageddon? That's about to start happening.
Actually, later on, we should talk about the meat salad, which is a dream of mine, close to near and dear to my heart. But it was actually not meat driven, just so you know. It was a deal, like you get more of them, but it was actually for cheesecake. I want to start doing a little bit of cheesecaking, and I brought some, spring, what are they called? Spring foam pans or something like that. And the parchment paper was the thing that I bought afterwards. So the last thing. There you go.
Some interesting hobbies, meat and cheesecake.
Hey, I like to cook a little bit, man.
Though.
If you're not 350 pounds by January 1st, you're not doing it right.
Hey, I'm bulking till 2021, all right?
Shannon?
So the last thing I bought on Amazon was a citronella dog collar, because you got to discipline your dog, right? Probably one of the more humane ways to do it. No, we just didn't want to get a shock collar, so I got that. My dog likes to bark at other people and other dogs. It's really annoying, so we're going to lay the smack down with the citronella collar.
Yeah, I have the citronella shock collar as well, or not shock collar, spray collar. And it works really well with my dog, so I'm sure you'll get some good benefits from it as well. And it's way more humane, as they say. You're not shocking your dog.
What's wrong with that?
Do you shock your dog, James?
From time to time. What do you got against shock collars?
Well,
I'm
we
just
just look
curious.
down. We just look down on you. That's all.
We're more humane people.
Yeah.
We don't shock our dogs. We
We
spray them in
just
the
spray
face
them. We just like to spray
with a
them in
bad
the face.
smell.
Says the two dog owners who have dogs that don't listen.
Oh.
That hurts.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. We actually do. Yeah, we do have a shock collar for the puppy. We don't turn it up very high at all. It's more of an annoyance than anything, I would say.
Why'd you decide to get that instead of the citronella collar?
I didn't even know that was a thing until today, about 10 minutes ago. But I think I mean, it works pretty well for correction. This one also has the option to vibrate too. And my dog's pretty much a pushover when it comes to corrections, so we don't really need to shock him at all. Just do the vibrate. Only shock him if he's like going for a bunny or something where he locks in, doesn't listen.
At least you're getting some good use out of it.
Hey, I shock myself too before I put it on him every time.
Yeah. That's
Gross.
good.
I didn't know you were into that.
I'll use citronellus or whatever people on the line. Oh,
Did you try it, Shannon? Did you put it around your neck and let it spray you in the face?
Nah, not yet.
Look at that. See?
Did you, Chris?
I did.
It sounds like it smells good. Citronella sounds like a delicious smell.
It's
Like a
kind of
candle,
like
like a
lemon
citrusy
smell.
vanilla. Like
Yeah,
that smells
it's like
delicious.
it's like a citrusy smell. What about you, Matt? What's the last thing you bought?
Well, mine's kind of boring. I bought a Funko Pop, a Marvel Pop, Iron Man. But I share an account with one of my buddies, and his is kind of unique. He bought a Valhalla Java whole bean coffee.
What?
Like, what? Valhalla Java whole bean coffee was what he bought. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, anything for the Vikings, all right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll bite for the name, but I'm just curious now if they have a logo associated with this coffee.
Yeah, dude. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Let's see. Yeah, it's got like a Viking sitting on a throne, and then it has it's Odin actually, a picture of Odin on the throne, and then he has like some animals and stuff around him. It's kind of a cool logo.
Anthony Hopkins?
What about you, Chris? What you got, man?
The last thing I bought and I returned it was lanterns. So actually, they're like jack lanterns where you actually plug it into the wall jack and you could hang it for pendulum lights. Because I was redoing my garage where I got like a dartboard now and kind of making like a little man cave out of it. So to better illuminate the dartboard, I hung a light above it, and that's the last thing I bought. It's not very exciting. House stuff. That's mainly what I've been buying lately.
That's
You
cute.
must be over 30.
Yeah, I am over 30. The most funny thing I bought is actually for somebody on this podcast. It was for Shannon's, I think, 26th or 25th birthday.
Oh,
I bought him
yeah.
Little Ho Peep and her sheep. It was a miniature blow-up doll that came with her sheep, and I had it mailed directly to Shannon's house for his birthday. That's
Yeah.
the funniest thing or weirdest thing I've bought. So whatever happened to that,
Yeah.
Shannon?
Somehow got deflated.
Needle. You got a needle one.
Which one did you deflate first?
The sheep.
Oh, easier traveling size, huh?
Yeah, I guess. No, they were actually both pretty small. They're probably, I don't even know, 3.5 feet. Was the Hope Heap, I guess.
So I actually bought it twice. So I did the same thing after I did it for you. My boss retired and he was like complaining that I never got him anything for Christmas. It was around Christmas time. So I sent him that, but I didn't put a name on it or anything. And I just shipped it to him with no return address, nothing like that. And he got it and he went around because he had no clue. And he went around asking people like, did you buy me something from Amazon for Christmas? And they're like, no, why? What was it? And he was like so embarrassed to say it because his Little Ho Peep and her sheep blow up dolls. So he's like, well, and he's like had time struggling to say what it was. And then he would tell them and they would just die laughing. And he said he called like 24 people asking who bought it for him. And he called me because I also sent him a basket, you know, like with the chocolates and all that stuff as well, kind of to cover up as well. So I sent him that. And he called me and said thanks for that. And he's like, but I got this other thing. I don't know who gave it to me. And I just started dying laughing. And he's like, it was you? I was like, yeah, it was me. And he got a big crack out of it. So that's the weirdest thing I bought.
I just want to clear something up. I never used it for its intended purpose. I just
Nope. Nope.
want to
That-
throw that out there
You're
before we move on.
Wait. These are like sexual dolls?
Yes.
I just like assumed it was just a
No.
literally like just a
There's little
blow-up
Bo Peep and her
doll.
sheep.
I
And her sheep.
don't.
2 for 1 special.
Fair enough. 3 months ago, I bought my dog a tactical vest. And it wasn't for like, I'm not in the army or anything like that, right? It was because I saw, they have the pouches on the side that you can Velcro to the vest. I got tired of carrying my dog's water, and I just figured like if he's going to drink it, he should carry his own water. So that's what I got.
You shock your dog and you make him do weight training and stuff like that. You make him carry himself.
He's only worn the vest in the house once, and it's been sitting in the box ever since then. So
I want to do that. I want to get a vest for my dogs to have her carry water and stuff because she's a husky. She's part husky, so they say they enjoy that because it's like a sled or whatever,
yeah, a little bit of workout for him, right?
Yeah.
I got a buddy that actually, I think he does have his dog pull a sled, but it's funny that like he likes to work out, and it's funny. He's like, yeah, me and my dog gonna work out too. He's like a female white shepherd. He's just like, yeah, me and my strong bitch on the block. Just like, dude, you're too much, man.
Matt, are you gonna wrap it up with something good?
No, I'm not. How about you? You got something else?
No, I already said it.
Say something else. Because I got nothing. I got basic stuff, couple pop figures here and there.
I do have one more.
Infinity. Oh, here we go.
I have a funny one. Another one. I bought a tutu, an adult size tutu, and it's a
For your
multicolored neon tutu. No, so I play adult softball, so beer league. So the thing is, when you strike out, or if you strike out or foul tip out, you have to wear a tutu for the whole inning. So you go play the field with this bright tutu on, and you go to your next at bat with a tutu. So for the whole inning, you wear this bright neon tutu. So I did buy one of those for this league this season, but unfortunately, this season's not happening because of COVID.
You were excited to wear that too, huh?
Man, I try not to strike out because I don't want to wear it. But I think that's a good segue into our next topic in sports and COVID. So a lot of these sports a lot of them are starting this week, right? In the next couple of days, MLB starting, NHL and NBA. And, football's not too far around the corner. Some of the mini camps and stuff are starting right now. So I kind of want to use this time to have your guys' thoughts and ideas on how each one of them is taking COVID and, going what direction they're going and shed some light on it. Do you guys have any thoughts on, we can start with the NBA bubble. So what's your opinion on the NBA bubble?
Well, I've seen a couple articles like Yahoo Sports and ESPN talking about it, and then Dwight Howard saying, "Oh, we don't need to wear masks," which I get his point, and also see the reason that you would want to still wear masks for extra security. And they tested, I believe it was like 300 players, and none of them came out positive for it. So everybody's in that bubble, and then they have like the separation of the press, and they're in their own like wing of the hotel, or maybe a separate hotel, but just in the same area. After they get tested, they got tested twice, and then they can have access to the players at practice and stuff like that. So, I mean, it seems like it's going well. A lot of people have been negative test results. So far, so good. It seems like everybody's healthy and getting their practice on. So
I know before they went to going into the bubble, 7% of NBA players tested positive for COVID. Once they did their 14 days, and then you said 0 since then?
Yeah,
Currently?
0, and I'll get the exact number for you. It was like 0 of like 300 something players that they tested recently. So I guess that's a good step up.
I know the biggest gripe the players have, especially because the first 2 days they're like quarantined in Disney World, is the food, and it's like plain food.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like burgers, pizza, fries.
No, you didn't see a lot of them are posting, and it's like in plastic, and it's like fruit salad that's like in one of those containers, that you get from maybe a gas station, and it's all like closed sealed food because they don't want any contamination.
Oh, they're trying to be safe. That's cute. Yeah, it was 346 players have been tested and 0 positive tests, so that's pretty good. And that was posted 2 hours ago on ESPN.
I think the most interesting thing to me about the NBA bubble is that they have a snitch hotline. It's a hotline, but players are calling it the snitch hotline. That's interesting to me is because If I was an NBA player and I saw someone doing something they weren't supposed to do, and I know I'm playing for this championship, I'm snitching. That's it. I'm getting a video. I'm getting a timestamp. I'm getting audio. If
Did
I
you
see LeBron out there snitching, I'm on the other team, or out there doing something he's not supposed to do, I'm on the other team. It's a wrap for LeBron.
did you
I'm
see
winning
the
that
meme? Did you see
championship.
the meme where LeBron goes tells on Kawhi and he's like, Kawhi just went and got Grubhub.
No, I didn't
And
see
it's
that.
LeBron all like smirking and stuff. And it's just like a meme because he's snitching on him. Because oh man,
Well,
somebody did
that's
get caught. One of the people did get actually some food service, Uber Eats or something like that, and he had a quarantine. I think it's like 7 days or something, another 7 days or something like that.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Some
yeah, I
food,
know
man.
that's crazy just for food. And like you were mentioning, Matt and Chris, the food probably actually sucks. I don't know if they're doing anything to make it better, but players are probably going to try to sneak and do things they're not supposed to do. And if you're a competitor, you're not cheating, or you're not trying if you're not cheating. So I'm snitching.
All right, Belichick.
Jeez.
I'm snitching. Don't let me catch you.
I don't know. I think I'm a little split on it. On one side, I get it. I totally understand it. It's a good shot at trying to resume basketball in a safe manner. But on the other side, it's just basketball and there is a deadly virus out there, like I get it totally. So I'm a little torn there, but I mean, I guess as long as if they're all in the bubble, right? Whoever's gone in there or whoever goes in there, you're taking that inherent risk, of something happening or getting it. And hopefully if something does happen, it doesn't happen to LeBron because, man, we need the Lake Show. Come on, man, baby. Come on, Lake
Yeah.
Show. Number
Feel you on that.
17. No, but hopefully it doesn't happen to any other players. And let's be real, none of the main players either, because that's where the money's at.
Yeah, I kind of take your stance on that. It's like there is a virus going around. Is money more important than health? But also, I think people need an escape, right? Everyone's kind of stuck at home, and there's nothing really new on TV. There's nothing like that. So it might be a blessing in disguise where they're doing it, I think, a safer way than what MLB is doing. And maybe that's a good transition going into MLB where they're still traveling. They're still going to go to games. They're still going to be able to go see their families and stuff like that. And their biggest issue right now is some players are dropping out and not wanting to do, this season. And they also cut the season to 60 games. So maybe MLB shouldn't have played this season. Is it a tainted, kind of my thoughts is it going to be a tainted championship? Whoever wins it, because it's only 60 games, all the stats are going to, not equate to what there was. So, and then Canada, they're not even allowing people there. So how is that going to work out?
I would have a take on baseball, but I absolutely hate that sport. So I'm just going to stay silent on this one.
I don't know too much about specifics. I've heard Trout's name thrown around. I believe if I'm thinking of the right player, he's got like a young child or his wife is pregnant or something like that, or
Correct.
about to be.
Yeah, so he's about to have a young child and his wife's pregnant, and he's, the face of MLB right now. Him and I would say Bryce Harper is pretty much the top two. And he was the one kind of reluctant to play because of the child, but he's going to play. I'm an Angels fan because I'm local here. But the Dodgers, David Price is a big person. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he's not playing. And, the Dodgers been to the World Series several times in recent years. So I'm sure you guys are aware of that, not being baseball fans. But there's some big players that aren't going to play, even coaches. And, it runs a risk, and they don't want to bring it back to their families and stuff like that. It might have been a little harder sport to do the bubble because NBA season, right, is at the end of its season where baseball never started.
Yeah, and it sounds like they don't care about baseball, and neither does Shannon. So,
But what about football, though? How do you think this is going to play out with not only NFL but NCAA?
So did you see Oakley came out with a mask for the helmet?
It
It's
looks
a-
Nah, I
terrible.
missed that.
It looks
It's
stupid.
a plastic piece that goes behind your face mask, your metal face mask.
And how does that stop it? It has it's a plastic thing, and then it has holes in it. How does that stop COVID? It goes right through the mask,
Well,
as far as
they're
I
going to
see.
test it, so they're testing it this off season because camps have started, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about football, people are tackling each other on top of each other literally every play. Is that gonna do anything, that mask?
You
I
know,
don't think so.
I don't think it's going to do anything. And some of the rules they put in, to prevent it is kind of like asinine, right? Where they're like, you can't swap jerseys at the end, but you could go tackle the guy and sweat and push the dude and hit the guy, but you can't swap jerseys at the end, or you can't mingle at the end of the game after you spent, 3 hours pushing the other dude back and tackling. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, I was going to say, you just look no further than what's been leaking out recently about the players the players and coaches from the inside. They literally have just been saying, we don't know how it's going to work, meaning that there isn't really a plan. Like, I don't know. I mean, the money might make it happen, but I don't see how you plan for something like that. It's impossible with football, even basketball to some degree. Like, it's just it's a numbers game at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see how it's going to work. Even like J.J. Watt, who's one of those top players, just like, we were talking about the baseball guys like Bryce Harper and stuff. Top, if he doesn't play, it's a huge deal. And he was saying he wore a visor one time in practice for like 2 periods, thinking it looked cool. And then he couldn't breathe in it. It was suffocating. So he's thinking, okay, how am I going to wear a visor and something covering my mouth and then play the game? It just seems like something that's not going to work for any player.
Yeah, I think it's going to change the game for sure, and it might not happen if the pandemic keeps going. I think what the NFL is kind of banking on too is, since they're kind of the end of summer, is this might start sizzling out or start wrapping up, or the pandemic's not going to be as prevalent as what it is now. That's what I think the NFL's been banking on. But now that it's getting closer and closer and it hasn't really resolved itself, it's going to be interesting to see when it happens. And if there's going to be similar to the MLB, where players start backing up, like the JJ Watts or the Patrick Mahomes, where they're like, it's not worth me going out there to get my family sick, and other ones, And there's been instance where the NFL, even some stadiums, are like, well, we're going to still allow fan attendance, but we're going to cut it to a fourth of the attendance. It's like, well, is that even worth it? I don't know. I don't know the answer on that. NHL's starting back up too, and kind of a big thing I saw was they just opened up camps and already 2 players tested positive. They opened up camps, I think, the 13th, July 13th, and it's another sport where there's not much physical contact besides slamming into the boards and stuff, and they have visors and face masks, and they already have 2 players that are contagious or have it.
The pro players don't usually wear anything on their faces, but I could see that being a sport where if they really wanted to adapt and cover their faces, they could.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how sports change and adapt for this, and if it's gonna have a long-term effect of fan attendance and stuff like that. Another good take I thought was, is it gonna be limited stadiums now for the future, even, because this is not going to go away. Somebody was saying that on another show I was listening to. It's like, well, how many until a vaccine comes out, are they going to do limited attendance when this starts tapering off, or how they're going to adjust to that? There's going to be a long-term effect for a while.
Agreed.
Well, but what I learned in this segment is no one likes baseball except me.
Hey. I'm not saying that I don't like baseball. I'm just saying that it's kind of boring.
Now, story time with James.
So, this story that I have is about a mix-up of words, right? I believe people say it got lost in the semantics or whatever. So, I used to play a little bit of college football, and this happened when I was a freshman. To give you a background, like, when we got to college and we got to play, it was a big deal to me that after the games or practices, even during training camp, they would have pizzas and water and Gatorade for you. That's blew me out of the water. I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Because you don't see that stuff unless it's like youth league or whatever, when your parents bring the stuff in the cooler. But anyways, I just remember them being like, they're like, yeah, grab a pizza. I'm like, what? This whole pizza is mine? Yes. Like, oh my God. Right, running away with it before somebody takes it away. But anyways, we'd won quite a few in conference games, and was just having a good time. We're on a roll, and after the game, our coach is just like, he's like, yeah, okay, well, way to go, guys. Go ahead and shower up, grab yourself a water and/or a Gatorade, and then go shower up, and then we're gonna break it down. And he's like, well, any questions or whatever? And then one of the receivers raises his hand, and he's like, Coach, what, a water and or a Gatorade? And he's like, he stops and looks at the receiver, and then his eyebrows furrowed, and he's like, what? What do you mean and or? It's and or. What's so fucking complicated about and or? Grab yourself a water and or a fucking Gatorade. And or. Oh, shit. Right? and he realized that he'd been just saying and or. And my favorite part about the whole thing is like, during his whole tirade, some people were confused about like and or, but I feel like most of us were thinking and or. I'm choosing and. and that was a story, man. It was pretty funny.
Good times in college football.
Pudding.
Well, Pudding.
Pudding.
Chris never met Pudding, huh?
No, I don't think so. Me and Shannon, it was before our time playing with you guys.
Jonathan Lindsay.
Oh yeah, that's his name.
How messed up was it that we got named a guy Moobs? Like that was
And got away with it.
and got away with it.
And not only did it get away with it, it stuck. Poor guy.
It stuck. Like everyone called him that.
Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with what moobs means, Shannon, what's it mean?
Man boobs.
Say it again. I think it kind of broke up.
Man boobs.
Wait, real quick. I just want to say I still call him Eric to this day. You assholes. All right.
I call him Eric. Actually, I call him Nelly because his last
You
name's
do
not-
call him Nelly.
I
We do
call him
call
Nelly.
him Nelly.
I call him
But
Nelly.
anyways, good nicknames. I liked Rocks.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. This guy was not smart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought the best one was Powder. That was the best one. Oh, that was that was a messed up one too, because he had alopecia and he couldn't grow hair, and he was super white from Alaska, and they named him Powder after the movie.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
was-
God.
Oh my God. Were you guys in practice when he tackled someone and he had
Yes.
a of chalk and he threw it up in the air as he tackled him? So it just looked like powder came from everywhere.
Yeah.
It was the funniest.
It was so awesome. They hit and it just like exploded. Like like when in a movie scene or whatever where they add in that type of stuff for the effect. It was and he didn't even cop up to it till after practice, right?
Yeah, that he had it in his pads
Yeah.
ready for it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He owned his name and he was okay with it, so it made it more fun, I thought.
Yeah.
Shannon, what was your Cougar nickname?
Bolts.
Bolts?
Bolts.
Because he was
That's not bad.
fast. Was.
He was fast. How about you? Oh, yours is KC
Yeah,
Masterpiece.
Casey Masterpiece after the barbecue sauce.
Masterpiece.
You guys had some good ones, and then Watts. That's good.
Yeah, Casey stuck too. Everyone thought my name was really KC for the whole 4 years, and then then I have to tell them, no, my name's not KC, it's Chris.
Cormales with a K or a C.
Nerd.
I don't need to hear no
I'm from
background story.
Greece. I'm from Greece.
Okay, pick one, dude. Sign the paper. Let's go. There's more people on the boat.
Now, bad advice with Shannon.
Hi guys, the bad advice of the week is to start an OnlyFans with just you, and after you get $1 million or so, let your significant other know and see how he or she reacts. That's the bad advice of the week.
OnlyFans. I don't think any of us are getting $1 million from an OnlyFans. I'm just saying
You
that
don't
right
know
up.
that.
There's
You don't
no
know
way.
that.
Speak
no
for
way.
yourself,
young.
moobs. All right.
You guys are so young. I don't even know what that is. I've heard the words, but I don't even know what that means.
Fans only.
Yeah.
Shannon, you gotta explain it then.
Yeah, I'll explain it. OnlyFans is I guess, social media site where fans can pay to view, I guess, the people that they're a fan of. And normally people will post nude pictures and or videos of themselves, and people will pay for it.
Interesting.
How much would you charge for your fans only, Shannon?
You know what? Like $10 a subscriber or something like that, or a video.
$10 a video?
Like that's fair.
I don't know. I don't know what the going rate is.
Man, people must be making mad money off of that. That's crazy.
Would you? I'm gonna ask Matt, since your girlfriend is literally sitting right there next to you. Would you create an OnlyFans and not tell her about it?
For a while, I guess. It'd be kind of fun to surprise me. Like, oh, well, what do you think? It's like, if you say something and you're like, look what I'm doing. And it's like, what? And you're like, look how much money I've made. Oh, I kind of want to see that reaction.
Would you put in
I'm gonna flip that. Now, what if she did that and then did the same thing to you? How would you react? But she made a lot of money though at the same time.
I would ask a lot of questions before I cast a judgment. I'll just be like, so are you making money? Because if she's just doing it for free, then like, what's the point?
Just out there showing your body for no reason.
For free. We got bills, girl.
Oh my goodness.
James?
What?
Would you do a fans only? I think that's what Shannon was asking, right?
Oh yeah, I'd be able to do that. I don't even think I'd get in trouble. Shut up! Hold the light up better, Kate.
boom mic and lighting. Helping you shave weird places. It's for the fans.
Do it for the fans.
Okay. Ready for
Chris,
the would you rather?
Oh, Chris, you don't have a significant other, do you?
No. You're just.
What about your brother? What would your brother think? I
don't know. Okay. So we're going to try a new segment. It came from episode 4 when James was doing Would You Rathers. So now we're going to do Would You Rather with James.
Okay, so would you rather? First one that I have for you here is, would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
I already only shout, so it's already in my nature. I'm too loud already. Everyone's always telling me to be quiet.
Shouting would be exhausting, I think. Just yelling the whole time.
Terrible.
I guess whisper. And I just use, maybe if I had to project, use a megaphone or something if I have to like yell at someone downstairs. I need to go. So I guess whisper. What about you, Shannon?
I think I'm whispering just because I feel like eventually people will have to like listen really hard to me. They're like, what the fuck is he saying? Okay, let's try to listen.
He sounds smart.
Or that you always have secrets.
Yeah.
What about you, James?
I think I'm team whisper as well. Shouting everything seems kind of ridiculous, or at least you'd then have to be really, really careful with your words. You just lean into your friend. I hate that guy.
It stinks in here.
Oh man.
Well, I have a story with that. Okay, kind of going into it. I went to a restaurant with my dad, and it was like kind of a coffee pastry restaurant. And we go in there, and my dad's a little hard of hearing. He worked with power tools his whole life, and I'm just like, oh, it's really expensive, and the food's not that good. And he's like, what? I was like, it's really expensive. The food's not that good. He's like, what? And then I finally scream it because I'm not realizing, and I'm just mad he's not hearing it. I'm like, it's fine. It's really expensive, and the food's not that good. And the people just look at me, and I'm like, damn it. And I was like, you caused that. You know that. He's like, well, I couldn't hear you.
What if your dad was like, gotcha?
He was laughing the whole time after that because he realized what he was doing. And he had no clue what I was really saying until the end. And he's just like, oh, my God. Just walked out of there in embarrassment. I was like, ah. Jeez.
That's too good. Next one I got here is, would you rather like to know when you're going to die or how you're going to die?
Oh, my God. Well, let's keep it in the order. It was me, right? Jeez. When or how? When or how? I'm guessing how, because when you just be like, dang, this is the day. When is it going to happen? And you're just gonna, I don't know, they're both bad. This is so hard. Because now thinking about it, I'm like, Yeah, but then every time you go on a plane, if it's a plane, you're gonna be thinking, "This is the time I'm gonna go." But then you could never take a plane, I guess. I don't know. But the plane crashes and hits you. That's how you die. It's still a plane. Now I'm just. This is just. This is just thoughtful. It's like, man, I don't know. I'm gonna say, okay, I figured out when I'm gonna die, because I'm just like, okay, this is the day. It's at some point it's gonna happen. Maybe lay in my bed so I fall asleep and die. Then
It's
try
like
that.
11:59. You almost made it the next day. You're like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
Shit.
Nope.
That's a tough one. Matthew.
I guess when, not how, because I think then you'd be really paranoid. But if you knew when, it would just be that one day that you'd be paranoid. So instead of being paranoid the whole time, like if it was like you said, a plane or like a car crash or whatever, you'd be just avoiding cars and maybe trying to ride your bike, which maybe a car will hit you, kind of like the plane, right? So I'd pick probably when I die rather than how. Shannon?
I think I would pick when too, because how would just be too stressful. But it would suck if it was like you knew when and it was like tomorrow, and you had just found out, and it was just like, what the hell? I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. But if it was like 50 years from now, you could do everything you wanted to do. So I'm gonna go with when.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat there, Shannon. Like, if I was to get win and you just see like, oh, it's when you're 95, I might even be like, ooh, that's a little too long. Maybe not. Yeah. No, but yeah, then it's it's not as bad. But how could be really rough? Like car accident. Well, I'm not riding anywhere ever again. Just
Oh, I got one. So, like, if you say it was 90 and you're like, oh, I'm going to do all the drugs, I'm going to drink, I'm going to be risky. And then in the background, it's just ticking away. Tick, 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 every time you do something. It's like, no, you got to keep checking it, man. Keep checking. And 60. Ugh.
Reminds me of Final Destination. Yeah, when we were talking about the planes and the cars, it's just it has to be that way. Remember
Have you
those
guys
movies?
have you seen In Time?
No.
That's kind of a combination. It's you have literally like a timer, I think, on your form, and it shows you a countdown to when you're gonna die.
Was
Kinda
that the
cool.
one with the
Justin
in-team
Timberlake's in
Justin
it.
Timberlake? Yeah, where you could
Yeah.
buy more time and you could everything costs your time,
Yeah,
your
something
life.
like that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
did see that movie. What
I
was
like
it?
that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was a good movie.
Haters gonna hate.
All right. Would you rather pay for sex or be paid to have sex?
I'd rather get the
Huh?
money.
What? Of course.
Give me the money.
Whore.
But I feel like if you're getting paid, the people that are paying for it are just gonna be disgusting creatures, and you're like, oh god. That's what I think of, like, gigolos and stuff. I'm like, that'd be a rough life.
The magic though.
Yeah, I would like to say that I would rather pay for sex, but I know I'd rather be paid. But to Matt's point, though, I mean, what if somebody comes through that you're not really that into?
Based on gender and maybe species.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Dog-
but
He's
dog
gonna
was
come
in
up
the door.
and pay you. Like, what?
A paw full of money. Let's
so
go.
so in this situation, you can't say no.
Nope.
I just assumed you're not able.
I just assumed like you'd still have a choice though.
Yeah, that's I would assume too.
Man, what if rent was due though?
That's your choice.
Taking
If
that
you need to go with Billy Bob, then go with Billy Bob.
Oh no.
Since we talked about NFL earlier, what did you guys think of Redskins changing their name or going to change their name?
I'm fine that they're changing the name. Like I don't feel strongly against it or for it, but like if it's I would just equate it. If it's anything as an African American male, that's what I identify as, right? I just want you to know I could be a toaster if I wanted to be. If it's anything like the Confederate flag for them and like the way I feel about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if the NFL had the Washington Confederates taking the field. Yeah, like if there's anybody that feels that way about it in the indigenous people community, then yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah, I agree.
James, yeah, I agree with that. Same thing. We all say the same thing, Chris. Come on, disagree.
I know that's why I gotta just disagree because no one else is doing it. So I'm just that guy now. I'm just
You
the
know
guy
what?
disagreeing.
It-
So I don't know if you saw the study that came out. I think the Redskins did. I want to say 2019, but maybe it was even a little bit before that, where 9 out of 10 Native Americans were okay with the name. Did you guys see that? So they actually did do a study, as well as I saw another article regarding this where they actually do have a big indigenous following, and the guy that actually created their logo was Native American.
Who did the study?
It was actually, I think, the Washington Post might have done the study.
I know the Seminoles are similar to that because the Seminole tribe like loves it that they're
Yeah.
represented, and then as long as there's no like negativity in the university and the people that attend the university and staff and faculty, like they're okay with it. So
Yeah, and there's still a lot of Native American mascots. I was where I went to high school. We were Native American. We're Comanches. That was our mascot. Like Matt said, the Seminoles. So there's still a lot of indigenous people being represented as mascots. But I could see the term, Redskins not a really good appropriate term, and that's probably why. But it was maybe kind of similar to Aunt Jemima. If the native people are okay with it, then what's the big deal? If Aunt Jemima's family was okay with it, what's the big deal? At some point, I know it's gonna hurt and affect other people, but can we change everything for the 1%?
Well,
Yup.
I'm gonna call into question the validity of that study. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked at it. I will say that, but so I know there has been people that have been protesting the name for a while. So I have a feeling that more Native people hate the name rather than love it. So I'm just gonna err on the side of we need to support the Native people that don't want to be called Redskins. So
Yeah, and I think they're still doing a native-driven name, is what I've heard too. Is they're trying to base it around some type of native aspect. So
it's definitely cool if they, like they do with the Seminoles, if you're saying that they support that team as long as the school doesn't get dragged through the mud or does something crazy. As long as they support it, that's
yeah, I think we're all in agreement on this that it's as long as it's supported. I think the only takeaway I have, or the only thing is, when do we stop taking things away if it's just a fractional percentage of people complaining about it? Redskins is definitely a bad term, and we all grew up knowing that it was something not appropriate to say. But where do we draw the line is kind of, I think, where we need to take the next step is you can't always listen to the 1% or the squeaky wheel.
We could pay the 1% though. No, I'm joking. At the end of the day, the term, right? The term is the issue there. And one other thing I wanted to know though is even if that logo was designed by like a Native American person, do you think he got paid?
I would assume so.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
The
just
Nike
curious.
swoosh guy barely got paid too. So and it was a college person, and they
Mm.
barely got paid. So maybe not very much. And I think the team's like 95 years old or something like that.
Mm. Yeah, it's probably like $5 whole dollars.
So none of the players were really mad about it or anything I saw. They're like, the history's still there. The stats lines are still there. It's not like the team's disappearing. They're not folding, and teams change names, right? The Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Titans. Teams change names at times. Not very common, but they do. So I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think it'd be cool if they keep it, as long as natives are okay with it, to keep it native, centric name would be kind of cool. And maybe keep it a similar jersey so the people that paid for jerseys don't have to buy all new stuff. At least the same color combo.
I did see a couple things that they showed. I don't know if it's actual, but they did show the same color combo for their new what they want to go with.
I want to talk about my day or my weekend. So I know I told you I smoked meats, but I wanted to tell you that I didn't do much around the house other than smoke the meat. But then, like, when you have that lazy weekend where somebody comes in and asks you what you did today and you just immediately get defensive, that's how lazy I was on Sunday. So I just want you to know that.
Thanks for listening to episode 5 of the MidCoast podcast with James, Chris, Shannon, Matt. Find us on YouTube and Instagram and all those good places at MidCoast Podcast. And see you in next episode. Share with a friend.
What would you rather, tits or ass?
Would you rather listen to this podcast or drowned?
Damn.
Or drown.
I'm thinking drowning every time. Shut up. Where's the water?
Thanks for listening. Add us on Instagram at MidCoast Podcast. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube and share with some friends.
Running out of evil, so the work getting slow. And they be tripping on the render, but be loving the post. Focus where you're headed, how you cope on the road. I wanna fly out the city, wanna take you somewhere